Hi everyone, Dorota Nail, international nail artist and educator here, and today we are gonna be playing with the texture nails. Have you preview ten here? Really trending at the moment, and I hope you really enjoy learning this design. If you're new in here, hit the subscribe button as there is lots of tutorials coming up every Monday, Wednesdays and Saturdays. So let's start. So first of all, we are gonna paint our background 217 Flower Garden. This is a color I use the most for the background in like a nude kind of color. In a salon, if I would sculpt a set of the nails, I would do it in perfect rose if I'm doing kind of French look, or I need to conceal the nail bed. And then for like a full coverage, I would use a milky pink. And there is lots of tutorials how to build up the structure on this video. We are gonna go for the design, so if you want to do it a full set, like, you can go and rewatch those videos and then apply this design on top of it. I'm just gonna remove any dust particles to make my application easier. And then once you're happy with it, we are gonna apply High Shine No Wipe Top Gel. The reason why I'm applying a top coat over it is like I want ombre to stick in only to the parts which are gonna have inhibition layer. And I find that this is the easiest and the best way to do it. Okay, when my top coat is cooking, I'm gonna start grabbing a French gel. But before I take it on my mixing palette, I want to give it scratches to my top coat. So I want the tip to be matte. Now, when you're creating those scratches, make sure you've got pretty smooth buffer, like, so do not use like a fresh buffer, which will create lots of heavy scratches. Like, you want them to be really nice and smooth, otherwise the pigment is gonna get stuck into those scratches and it will look pretty ugly. I think that's what is quite a lot of trouble for a lot of people, like asking why does the pigment stick to my tip even if it's a buff surface. So scratches are really important. And you can see it, you cannot actually see any scratches, you know, they are quite nice and smooth. Okay, perfect. Once this is ready, yeah, I don't have to buff it even completely. Usually what I do it on a client, so I would kind of almost buff it around everything and then couple scratches in the middle. That is always sufficient for the next layer to stick to it, because as we know, the gel polish sticks in only to the rough or sticky surface. Get rid of the dust particles, glitters and things. And then we are gonna paint a French, okay? So I'm actually gonna go for a mixture of the D-liner, or maybe just paint it with the D-liner. Let's start with the thumbnail. So first of all, I want my Frenchies to go quite nice and high up. You want to find out your happy medium, like the medium first, the middle of the tip, and then you also want to get a nice height. Like, I usually go for where the natural nail folds finished for my smile line, and then the other side needs to be the same height. Okay, once you've got those heights done, basically what I'm doing is I'm connecting the dots. Remove the excess from your brush, and then you want to just join that in. Okay, so this way I have painted quite a nice and sharp smile line. Now I can just grab the watercolor brush and color everything in. Keep it there because I don't want to cure it yet. Like I want just a perfect amount of the inhibition layer. So I don't want to overcook the things. I'm just gonna do it on another one. What I'm doing, this looks actually funny, but what I'm doing is like I'm removing the excess of the product from my brush so my brush can go nice and thin. This way I can be more precise, because if your brush is loaded with the product, it can be sometimes quite hard and difficult, guys. And then just color it in. Okay, next one. You get to practice all those smile lines with me. And obviously the less I talk, the faster I am. For those of you who are just starting as a nail technicians, guys, you need to do about 100 French manicures before you get it right. It doesn't happen like overnight, you know. You really need to do it, a decent amount of it. So normally also, like when it comes to the ratio of the French manicure on a client, I like to do it 1/3 of the nail bed. What I'm doing now is I'm removing a drop of the excess of the product so it doesn't look too bulky here. Okay, I can start curing them. Or maybe not. Let me just paint the last one. when you do those dots, it's easier, like you kind of more precise. Another tip I can give you guys, I find it like when you're painting that direction, you can feel it is not straight, or like, so it's good to actually kind of go that view, lift the client's finger up a little bit. And this way you can see it like an actual smile line better. And there is so many different ways of painting the smile line, like my favorite one is actually the D-liner brush if we're going for a very short ones, and then I need some bigger brush to speed up the process, otherwise it is just like taking far too long. Or the angular brush, and with angular brush you kind of keep pushing the product into a smile line. Okay, let me close that because I like to keep the things decent, clean-ish to make my life easier. And then we are going to cure them. So I want to cure them exactly 60 seconds, no shorter, no longer. 60 seconds to be exact. I actually didn't inspect the smile lines too much. I'm not too bothered as well because we are going to kind of cover it. So that was a kind of quick paint. And then wipe, because we are going to use some neon pigments. So always grab some sort of even A4 piece of paper, wipe, just anything really, so they don't go all over the places. And I have dilemma, maybe not able to squeeze in all colors, so maybe let's stick just to those 4, yes, because it's gonna be quite difficult to squeeze them all. And then we've got a piece of sponge and a form. Just touch it like on your skin, so you remove the little bit of the excess of the glue. Losing my voice today. And then you could actually maybe even cut it into a smile line. I remove dirt from my sponge because the sponge is always like absorbs so much everything, like completely everything. And now we are gonna paint some ombre. Now my suggestion would be, guys, because we want to do this ombre so nice, no, maybe I will try with the let's do it with this one. So normally I think I would be happy to do it with the brush, which will be more precise. And what I want is purple here. So what you're doing is you bringing in the pigments there on the sponge. Then I'm gonna go for a pink. Then we are gonna go for orange. And basically what I'm doing is I'm blending my colors on the sponge. Like really nice and decent blend. You want to take your time with it. And then let's grab yellow. And do the same. Okay, fantastic. I am really curious like how it will turn it up, because normally I use the sponge technique. So this is a thumbnail. And what you want to do it now is you want to sponge that ombre into your nail. So I'm just gonna twist it that, hold it with the tweezer, okay, and then sponge it. So the pigments actually should get in only on the French gel. get a better grip. And we've got some ombre on the French. Let's keep it on the side. Do another one. So with the edges, I'm touching the yellow pigment, and this is actually quite fast. Let me reapply a tiny bit of the pigments. Definitely it's easier if you actually put the sponge down, because if you don't do it, then it's too difficult. Okay, keep blending. This is the only downside of this technique. Like, I would say it takes quite a decent amount of the time to blend it nicely. And because the pigments are so messy, you have to be kind of slow with it. Now I'm gonna go a bit higher just to make my life easier, so I don't have to touch it this much with the corners. Cool. Okay, that should be enough for the other 3 tips we've got. Now, when you're turning your sponge down, make sure you do not go into the places where you've got pigment, because if you do it, like, you will get some pigment over the places you don't want to, okay? So when the sponge is freshly pigmented, it gives you a really nice results. And honestly, like, doing an ombre for a French, I think is quite difficult and time consuming. So I would say this is a really nice technique. Look how fast it is. Cool. Okay, put the sponge on the side. Get rid of those pigments before you actually make a mess of it. And then we can move on into the next step, guys. So first of all, you want to clean the excess of the pigment, okay? Like with the brush. And then let's start doing the next part. So I want you to grab some black gel, and we are gonna do a couple of the dots. So black gel and dotting tool. Let's start with the thumb. Please do not make them too regular, too even, like, I mean, all the same size-ish, but not too, like, not one after another, like one under another. Oh gosh, I don't know how to explain that. So I wouldn't place it here, I would go off-site.
Kind of
Random. Thanks, Patrick. Okay, cool. Let's give it a cure. And do it on another one. Should actually go for maybe a little bit bigger dotting tool. I actually need to do it some set with the polka dots as well. Like Olivia did it a really nice and beautiful set just with the dots, like so nothing on it, just a white dots. And guys, like it turned out actually amazing. You know, sometimes those simple ideas can be pretty nice. Let me grab this one and the last one. So I want to keep it at kind of all similar, actually all the same for a change, because quite often we do random sets. And then cook this one too. Okay, next step for this design is to stick in some gems. So what I'm gonna do it is grab the base gel, and apply nice and pretty gems around my smile line. That's why I wasn't bothered too much about it, you know. I've got this size, this size. Let's maybe do it as smaller sizes. Like I know it is going to be more time consuming, but so Patrick is laughing, like more time consuming. Yes, definitely. Smaller ones was a really good choice. So if your gems doesn't want to stick in, that's when you have not enough base gel. But at the same time, I don't want to put too much of it. Get it at nice and high. Okay, I'm missing one more on this side. Cute. Let's cook it. You know what, guys? I'm actually gonna do it probably on my own to don't keep you bored with all those gems application, because it's exactly the same. I think I also missed some gem application on my nails as well, so I think it's a time to get myself like a wee nice blingy set. But this turned it out pretty good, like, I mean, the ombre wise. So normally I use gel polish or some color to do it, but I would say in the case of the French, actually the pigments are better. For doing the ombre on the entire nail, I am not sure. Like, I think I still prefer the gel polish, because you can use different kind of color combinations. That's me counting the crystals. Okay, cook it, and then I'm actually really gonna do it on my own, the rest free, and then come back to you guys. Perfect, that's the crystals done. So it's a time for a top coat. So high shine wipe top gel. And I'm usually going like quite close to the crystals, like almost going underneath of them to make sure they're gonna stay nice and long time. Smooth out the top coat, and then other side. Okay, so split your brush, go into those crystals, nice and decent. And then cure it. So I have done the same in here, and our next step after all of that is done, grab the clear fiber gel, and we are gonna do like this kind of texture. So I'm picking up quite a decent scoop on my brush, and then starting outside, like almost, you know, so this way you get more visible line. And then nice and thin as you're coming inside. Like, you don't want it to be too thick in there. Get rid of the blob from your brush, and then nice and thin. I had not enough, so I started a bit higher, like I'm kind of brushing away the product from my brush. Save me pick it up again. Cook it, and then do it the same in here, and then I can show you full set. Notice how they turn it out, and I hope you have guys really enjoy it. Look how I'm playing with this. Get it out from your brush. So depending what kind of texture you want, you would either go for like gel, or you could also do it with the top coat. Like I know some of my clients like those kind of looks, but they don't want to go over the top. They want just a tiny bit of texture. And then I'm doing those kind of designs with the top coat. The only difference would be like with the gel, because the gel is not that runny like an actual top coat. I would swap the hands, so I would do it like you know, one, maybe not one, but like maybe 2-3 lines, and then swap it. Okay, let me show you all this set. So we've got, of course, you have to remove the inhibition layer from it. So UV cleanser and remove the inhibition layer. This will be a middle finger. That will be my ring finger or index finger. I would say ring finger. Oh, I am confused now. Actually, you know, oh, we didn't do this one. Oh, Dorota. You wanted to finish the set. That's not enough, like far not enough. And maybe I actually show you as well what I'm doing with my brush. So when I'm dipping in the brush, I quite often get the blob of it, like, you know, you want to get it nice, and then you can go in there. Got some glitter. But I'm not going to remove it. I actually quite like it. Another idea came to the head. So, you know, each time when I'm doing a set of the nails, like another idea is born, and that's what I love about it. Like you do one thing and then another comes to your mind. Okay, get rid of my brush so it doesn't cook. Remove that inhibition layer. This is definitely a pinky, that's all what I can tell. But what I wanted to say is like the texture nails make it look a little bit chunkier. So please keep that in consideration. Like when you're doing a structure, like even building a nail enhancement, I would do a credit card thickness at the free edge, the maximum, like just so you can kind of conceal those bulky look. You don't want to go too bulk. And yes, I made that mistake because they look so big with all this texture. So there we are. Like I would say it actually increased one size of the nail with the 3D look. So not every client would be suitable for those kind of designs as well. Like, and I think we should take that into the consideration. But that's how this set turned out. You can see a texture, ombre, and a couple sparkle going on in here. And I hope, guys, you have really enjoyed it. I'm sending you huge glittery hugs and looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!